Nice to see everyone here. It's nice to see so many people at the first Budapest event. So I'm kicking off the event talking about how you can use Confluence with marketing. So how you can go from planning your events in Confluence, your campaigns, and getting approval. So whether you're working on a small campaign or a big campaign, we'll see how you can do that with Confluence. So yeah, before I get started, I want to introduce myself. So my name's Jack Graves. I'm the founder of Capable, and yeah, we're a company that helps you maximize your productivity with Confluence. So my experience, previously I've worked at Adaptivist, I've led AppFox, HSBC, I was a consultant, and before that I worked in test engineering. And throughout all of these jobs, I've always used Atlassian tools, either as a user or as an administrator or a product developer. And outside of work, I like retro technology, paddleboarding, traveling, and collecting records. So if you have any of those interests, come and see me later. And yeah, it's my first time in Budapest. It's been lovely. The food is amazing. The buildings and the baths is my personal favorite. So let's get into it. So who here's heard of Adventure Time? Anyone? So they're off to a good start already. So in this demo, we're going to be looking at Adventure Time. They're a marketing company who builds products and they sell them on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and more. We're going to take a look at that later. So I want you to kind of picture that this company exists, and let's dive into it and see how they use Confluence. So we've got Jake, who's the head of marketing. And then we've got his product marketers below, Bimo, Finn, and Princess Bubblegum. So each of them has unique skills, and each of them brings their own skills to the table, and they help make these campaigns a success. So here's some of the products that they sell. We've got some Firelight kits, we've got some Candy Kingdom tech, and all of these will be campaigns in Confluence, which is where they're going to use to track. So the channels they use are TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook, and this is mainly going to be sort of copy that they produce for it, videos that they produce for YouTube, but it could also be sponsoring YouTubers, for example. And in addition to this, they sponsor events and they help build brand awareness. So let's take a look at the process that they go through. So this is rather typical, a process for a marketing company. First of all comes the market research, and then comes the strategizing. And then after that, they're ready to actually produce the stuff. So that could be writing a blog post, a social post, or producing a video. And then they go on to deliver that, which would be actually posting those. And finally, tracking. And we're going to see how Capable can help you with the first few stages of this process. So how do we actually map this onto Confluence? So the plan basically is they use a single Confluence space to manage their campaigns. They have pages about their team, their process, guides on how to produce these content. And then the big kind of main important thing here is the campaigns. So underneath the campaigns, they'll have research, assets, and then any kind of images or copy that they need. And the first thing I'm going to show you is how you can use templates to do this in Confluence. So this doesn't require any products. This doesn't require any apps. You can do this natively in Confluence. And I'm going to show you some cool tricks on how you can use that to keep structure. Because as we know, Confluence is unstructured and it can become quite messy, as we'll see. So yeah, I'm going to be covering capable, and then the other two presenters are going to be going to show you the next parts later. So first of all, I'm going to show you what not to do. So this is how Confluence can look if you kind of let it get away with itself. It's confusing. There's a lot of elements everywhere that's just very confusing for people to understand. And this is what you shouldn't do. So you should keep things simple. You should keep things very easy. And your marketers shouldn't have to think what to do, basically. It should be really intuitive. So this kind of thing, it results in confusion. So before we start, I'm going to show you how Capable does things a bit differently. So with Capable, you get one item at the top of your page, which is Capable. You click on this, you get a list of features, and those features are only going to put elements at the top of your page when you actually want them. So versus what we just saw previously, this is a massive step forward. And let's take a look at what it looks like once you add some features. So this is a page, just a normal page in Confluence. There's no clutter. This is what happens when you add an approval using Capable. And then what happens if you add a diagram. So you can see if you're not going to use any of these features, they don't clutter your interface, your users don't get confused. So yeah, let's go on to the demonstration, which is the main part. So I'm going to walk you through how you can keep structure using templates. I'm going to walk you through how you can plan your campaigns using the calendar feature, and how you can request approval with Slack notifications. So that should be interesting because it keeps you with your flow. And on your mobile phone, you can actually get these notifications when you request an approval. And finally, we're going to look at how we can scale this up if you're the manager, you can pull back all of your approvals or all of your calendars all in one view. So let's take a look at that now. The first feature I want to show you is templates. So in Confluence, you can create templates if you're a space admin. And this is really useful because it keeps structure. And here's the tip, is basically you can create buttons on your pages like this, which will create new pages from templates. So I'll show you what that looks like first of all. So if you click Create Profile here, this is going to create a page from a template. And I can fill in all of these details here. And we're just going to leave it at that. And this template actually sets a label on this page, which automatically labels it as a team member page. And you can do this with templates, which makes them really, really easy. So if I go to my team page, you can see now John is now shown in the page properties here automatically because the template was set with the label. So this is a built-in feature of Confluence. You access it through the space settings, and then you click templates. And then in here, you can see all of my templates that I've created. And the little trick here, which not many people know, is that at the top here, if you click Edit Labels, you can actually preset labels onto templates. And then when you create a page, it will automatically set that label. So it takes a lot of the guesswork out of creating these. And obviously, here's another trick, is that templates can contain buttons to create further pages from templates. So you can see here, this button creates a research page. And this keeps people knowing what they need to do, and it's not confusing at all. it keeps structure in your pages. And then this table, this is done with a page properties report here, which basically you give it a label here, and it will automatically produce this table from your child pages there. So next we're going to look at how you can plan your campaigns using the calendar feature of Capable. So just similar to the previous one, we've got a page which has a list of campaigns using the Capable table here. And I can create a new campaign here by just clicking on the button, which will create it with the label. And campaigns have many parts. So one part is the assets here. So we have a list of all the assets that go towards that. You can also see the approval status for later. And what we're going to look at here is how you can use dates and calendars to actually plan your campaigns. So in Confluence, if you press 2 slashes, it will actually open up a date. If I do that here, you can see here, if I do 2 slashes, it lets me add a date. And we're going to select the 27th. And this is going to be called finishing. And what I could also do here is mention a user. So I'm going to mention myself. And I'm going to update the page. And what Capable Calendar lets you do is add these dates to your pages, and they show up in a calendar. Very simple, but it gets the job done, and it makes it easy for people to stay on point and on schedule. The other feature of Capable Calendar is that you can actually add date ranges to your page. So using the Capable event macro, you can add a date with a start and end time, an assignee. It also supports time zones and etc. So using these two very simple features of Confluence and the calendar macro, we can actually get a full plan of our marketing campaign here. So it actually pulls these dates from your pages, which makes it different to the other ones, which are kind of separate calendar tools. So this means you can keep all your schedules here and update them, and you can see it in a calendar. So we've looked at this on one page, but what about if we wanted to see this across all pages? Maybe we've got like 6 campaigns going at once, and we actually want to see the dates across all of our pages. Maybe we're the manager of the marketing team, Jake. So what Capable lets you do, if you open up the main interface here and click calendar, this is actually collating all the dates across all of my pages in that space into one calendar. And I can then change the color to be by user, by type, or by page. So if I click by user, you'll see each user here is designated a different color. And I can hover over these to see more information. So that's the event that I just created. And we can just take a look at all those dates. And I think there's a date from a different page here as well. So using the Capable Calendar, we can really easily kind of understand what we need to do and what the dates are and what our next marketing campaign is going to consist of. And we can also see this in a year view or an agenda, etc. Or even export this to your calendar. So you could export this to your iCal or CSV. So you could create your campaign, create your schedule, and then put that actually into your Google Calendar, for example. So just demonstrated the calendar feature. And next, let's look at how you can, assuming you've already planned your event, how can you actually go about getting approval? So we've got a few assets here. So campaigns will have assets. This could be, you might be posting on Instagram, you might post on Twitter or a YouTube video. And obviously all this stuff needs to be approved. So Jake the dog is the approver. And what we can do, let's create a new asset. So let's assume that Jake or Finn has created a new asset here, and this would have the YouTube video on it. How's he actually going to go about asking Jake for approval here? So if we go onto the capable menu and we click approval, you can see here, here's a list of users, and we want, let's ask me so that I get a notification. So what Finn's done, he's just asked his manager for approval on this, and his manager has received a Slack. So let's see if the demo gods are on my side. Yeah, here we go. So he would receive a notification here showing that I've requested an approval for this page. And all I need to do is click respond. And that will actually open up the window. And at the top, I can just click on the approval pending and leave a comment here. So let's say he did a great job. I'm not left-handed, so it's quite difficult. I think I'm going to approve this one. So let's click approve. And as you can see at the top, that's now changed to approved, and the page is approved, and the person who requested it will also get a Slack notification saying that the page has been approved. So it really just stays out of your way. You can ask people for approval, they get a Slack notification, or I've almost missed the fact that they could also get a email notification as well, or both. So whether you use Slack or not, you can use this solution. And as I said before, the whole point was that if you don't need it, it doesn't clutter your interface. But if you do, it adds it here. So I think the next part is to kind of show you how do we manage this like at scale. This works for a small team going on individual pages and actually seeing the approval status. But what if we had a big team and we were running, say, 10 or 20 campaigns at once? This is where Capable's dashboard view comes into play. So you can either embed, as you can see here, a table with the approval status of each page here. And you can see very quickly who's been requested. And you can double click on this to take you to the page. But that's assuming you want to use macros and you want to put those on the page. So apart from that, you can actually use the full interface to find these. So what you could do is add the approval status column here. And we could add a filter for the person who is approving. And if I click Jake the dog here, you'll see now I've pulled back all the pages that are pending Jake the dog's approval, and I can see the approval status here. And if I click on this, you'll see how this kind of brings all of this into one view. So Think of this like similar to the Jira issue sort of view. So from the page, it's extracting all of this information. So I can actually click approval. I could approve my pages directly from here. I don't actually need to go onto each of them individually. Similarly, I could see the dates from the page, all in one view. If there was a diagram, I could also see the diagram on there. Maybe the page has some links. These are also shown here. Might take a little bit of time to resolve those titles. So as you can see, the capable search tool kind of brings all of these features together in one view and lets you really easily kind of respond to the approval, see the dates on the page, and even more. So it just kind of makes things a lot easier if you're managing this at scale. Okay. So in this session, you've learned how to keep your Confluence UI clean and intuitive with Capable, effectively structure your Confluence pages with templates, including the button feature and the label sort of hidden feature that they've got in there. You've seen how you can plan out your marketing campaign schedules with the calendar, and how you can then get approval with Slack and email notifications, all in one menu, all really easy to use for your users. And finally, we've seen how to track everything using the search feature. So, in fact, in this session, I've deliberately only focused on 2 or maybe 3 of these features. But there's a lot more. And if you're interested in sort of seeing it or trying it for yourself, come and find me after the presentation.